How many of you have had issues when it comes to lane closures, road closures, events, parades? Let's take, for example, the Formula One in Vegas. It's really hard to navigate around. And the problem is, if we look at the national grid of all the roads, Uber and Lyft are not tapped in, meaning they don't know what's going on any given day. What's happening in what city, what lanes are closed, what roads are closed. And too often you find yourself in a situation where you actually get punished as a driver. Could be in form of a threatening message, or actually even a deactivation. And the rider and the passenger, they want to go from A to B. They may not be aware that there are certain closures and they are given a certain price. And here you are, you arrive, you pick them up, you drive along, and as you find out, which is always the case, you've done an extra 2, 3, 4 miles, you've done an extra 10, 15 minutes. The charge at the end of the trip, because you had to take this road and that road and go over this bridge and that was shut down, the price goes up. And a few things happen. You don't often get compensated for all that extra work, for all those extra miles, for all that extra gas. You might even have a rider or a passenger who turns you in, which basically means, they were aware because during the trip you alerted them, right? You said, you know what, we got the F1 going on here in Vegas, and typically from this hotel, from this airport to this hotel, it's only a few miles. You can look at the map and it should only take us 10 minutes, but now we have to take this route. I just want you to be aware of that. And riders and passengers will often confirm, no, I understand. Just get me there, right? They just want to get there. It helps to explain to the passenger that their end rate may be different, meaning I just want you to be aware, we had to take these side streets, as you could clearly see, that and that was closed down, so your end amount might be a little higher. That's not my fault. Uber or Lyft should have made you aware of that. Sadly, some riders or passengers will still turn you in. Oh, this driver went a completely different route, costing me $7 or $8 more, knowing, and this is the sad part, knowing that you guys communicated in the car, you made it apparent to them, you made it very clear, hey, I got to take this route, and they said fine. But they will still try, go around the back, get that money back, and throw you under the bus. And when I say throw you under the bus, it very often ends in a wrongful deactivation, right? Oh, you drove additional miles, you didn't stick to the navigation. They basically saying, in other words, you committed fraud. You tried to bump up the price, which is absolutely not the case. So what do we do? It is important, my friends, and this can often be done if you have two phones. That's why I always keep on promoting two phones. As you're driving around, your navigation system is there and you're hitting this snag and it tells you to go that way. If you have a separate phone and you're sort of coming up to an intersection and it says, rerouting or detour, that big orange sign, detour, take a couple of pictures or take a short video where maybe you just get that sign in the picture and then you put the camera down so that the passenger doesn't see you recording this, and then so you get the audio on that phone and you're still driving, right? You may have pulled up to a stop street or a traffic light and now you're turning right instead of left, and you're actually recording yourself on that second phone. Oh, by the way, as you can see, there's a detour. It's being recorded, by the way. They don't know it in the back seat. They don't know it. You know it. It's being recorded. And I just want you to make aware that it looks like this detour is going to take us about 7-8 minutes more. They reply, that's fine, that's okay. So you've got to have a clear audio of the passenger or the rider understanding. So if they decide to turn you in, you have that backup recording, and you don't have to hold a camera up, you know, and film over your steering wheel. That'll be regarded as dangerous by the rider. You just have the phone down here, so you quickly lift it up, get the detour sign, or you take a screenshot of the navigation right where it says detour, or you actually film the screen which is over there, right in front of you to the right on your little phone holder, and you can see, okay, we have a detour here, it's rerouting us, it's going to take like 7-8 minutes more. Riders and passengers don't like paying more, they hate it. But these are things that you absolutely cannot avoid. The pathetic part is that you have a multi-billion-dollar company with access to all of this information on the grid, right? They have their own navigation system, they tapped into other navigation systems, and they still don't know that, for example, in Boston, during the marathon, all of these road closures are taking place. Clearly, the trip will take longer. Uber and Lyft are not aware of it, but will punish you. And they'll either punish you in form of a deactivation or a strict warning. And having the evidence or having the screenshots that you can respond to that will get you out of the deactivation. And I'm saying this because we've done over 4,700 deactivation cases. I have seen several cases where the company just pulls the trigger, deactivates the driver. You committed fraud, you try to run up the bill, you took another route, you cost the passenger more money. Hello, Uber and Lyft. Do you know of road closures or lane closures? Do you know of the Boston Marathon? Do you know of the Formula One event in Vegas? These are typical situations that you should be aware of. And you have the sophistication, you have the engineering, you have the programming that you could be notified at any given moment, on any given day, what is happening on the national and international grid, right? I mean, anywhere, and it doesn't matter what city you're in. If you're a driver in Paris, if you're a driver in Boston or New York, you have your navigation system, and off you go. Things can change, and the only reason they change is there's something going on. And there's literally something going on that Uber and Lyft are not aware of. So this is not a reason for punishment, Mr. David Risher. Your engineers have to do a better job. This is not a reason for punishment, Mr. Darakosh Shashawi. Your engineers can do a better job. This is not a reason for punishment, Tony Zhu, when you're on a food delivery and you're taking additional time. You might take a lot of additional time. It might be another 30-40 minutes. But they're not taking that into account. So few reasons why I'm making the video, preparing you that if you get the evidence, the screenshots, the videos, you're covered after a wrongful deactivation or after a warning. It'll cover you when it comes to a little bit of a legal battle, especially in a wrongful deactivation. Can easily cover you when you just get a crappy rating, right? And you write a message that you want that reviewed. By the way, the rider was aware that this was a 20-minute extra trip. You did not commit fraud. And the companies can do a much better job here. Hopefully someone in the engineering department comes across this, or hopefully they start looking at this a little bit closer, because drivers should not be deactivated over this. This is on them. Road closures, lane closures, events, happenings that they may not be aware of, that's all on them. That's not on you. You are adapting to the circumstances. We are like chameleons. Drivers are adapting to the circumstances. And it could be an accident. It could be, like I said, a big event like the Boston Marathon where multiple streets are closed down. So I hope that they take this into consideration. You get dinged for a bad rating, you got the backup. If you get a nasty message, you've got the backup. If you have a wrongful deactivation, you got a backup for this insanity. If you have any questions, hit me up. I am specifically making this video because I've seen a lot of deactivations lately precisely because of this. Precisely over this very issue. Road closures, lane closures, etc., etc. So, get the evidence, my friends. Take care. Leave your comments below.